went down there and told them about it.
Yeah. He said he come up on them. Dennis Hathcock says he's the one that found all the other casings that was in the road, along with a piece of Pauline's head and some of her brains. Huh. Mike Elam's story is just, but again, this is good because maybe the truth will come out once he's put under oath, and then a person can, then we'll know, hopefully, that we'll get the truth under oath, under penalty of perjury.
On down the road at the second ambush site, uh, along with a double handful of Pauline's brain
Stop.
that was in the ditch.
Once again, a double handful. Worked many hundreds into the thousands probably of deaths between accidents, homicides, everything. Never have I ever reached down and just picked up somebody's brains. You just don't try to pick up brain matter. You're just not going to pick it up. You might take a shovel and bury it. You might take but you're not going to pick up 2 handfuls of brain matter. It's just not going to happen. But you'll hear Mike Elam says this in video after video. Go ahead, Punk. I don't want to waste your time.
And he said that he knew that it couldn't have happened the way that Buford described, because there would have been no way for the brains of Pauline to have been in that ditch unless she was shot outside.
Of course, there's a way. Look at your own demonstration, Mike. You said you believe in the experts. Look at your own demonstration. Let's turn that woman around straight. Let's turn her around to the front and shoot her through the side. And let's see where that projectile, how did that passenger window get shot out? How did it get broke? How did Dennis Hathcock find a 4-inch piece of her skull with hair still on it over in the ditch? Do you not think any of that brain matter followed that skull, followed the scalp? Of course it did. But a loss prevention officer, this is not something that somebody with a CSI cap on his desk would be required to know unless he was actually a crime scene investigator, a detective, or something of that nature. Working a case like this is not the same as watching somebody going down the toothpaste aisle, putting an electric toothbrush in their pocketbook. Go ahead, Punk.
The car, and said that saw Pauline.
Go ahead, babe. I'll let you do this one.
Huh?
I said, go ahead. I'll let you do. He said Pauline was very dirty when he looked at her. Very dirty, guys. Where's the clothing at?
The evidence.
Where's the clothing at? Wouldn't it be nice? They took her clothing from the hospital, from the morgue. They had her clothing. It's missing. This is the TBI, the Tennessee Bureau of Investigations. They lost her clothing, her shoes.
They've lost everything.
It would be nice to have her clothing so we could lay them out, look at them, and see if there's dirt, because it was due moisture that morning. There would have been moisture on the ground had they been struggling on the ground, or she'd been on the ground and she was dirty. What better way to prove it than to look at her clothing? Oh, that's right. They lost her clothing. They lost the casings. They lost the bullets. They lost the projectiles. They lost the spent rounds. They lost the blood samples. They lost the friggin' car, guys. They're out here doing a reenactment with a Cadillac, 2010 Cadillac. Give me a break.
But that's pretty much what he said in paragraph 3. And so we'll move on to page 3, and it being the final page. Page 3, paragraph 1 is very interesting because Moffett tells that he had of his own knowledge that Buford had pretty much beaten Pauline up about 3 days before the ambush.
Stop it.
Oh.
Okay, that's a good comment. Good comment to make. Mike says that we don't believe anything that he says Moffett said, because we already know Moffett from what his daughter said and what his reputation is. So
Mhm.
Anything like this is either written by Warren Jones or even Mike Elam. It could even be written by Mike Elam, guys, because a while ago they were taken up for, like Warren Jones said, they're trying to go with Warren Jones's platform, Warren Jones's story. But he says that Moffett says that Pauline was beat up 3 days before she was killed. Huh, that's good. Well, I wonder where those marks were. Remember, Mike Elam says in one of his videos before the outcome, before they held their famous press conference, Mike Elam says that maybe he was telling another podcaster. He says maybe what we're hoping for in the autopsy, that it will prove defensive wounds. Maybe she had defensive wounds and bruises and uh, damage that can prove that she was abused. Well, the neck come back great. The autopsy, all the limbs,
Mhm.
upper and lower extremities, the neck, the jaw, no jaws broke, no nothing. Had a Now, Mr. Davison, guys, if you haven't seen that video we did on Mr. Davison's remarks, I figured that one would get a lot of views because that's very interesting. Mr. Davison says in his press conference, which he's not under oath yet, but he says that she had a healing fracture, healing. But yet, in the anthropologist, is that what it's called?
Master Miss Pass, or she was a forensic
Anthropologist.
anthropologist. Yeah.
She says that it was a well healed nasal fracture, well healed, as in healed.
Hmm.
Mr. Davison points you in a different direction, a lot like Mr. Elam does. Guys, when you're fooling with a criminal case, you can't point people in directions. You got to show proof. You got to show the evidence. You can't fabricate. You can't lie to make a story sound like you want it to sound or the direction that you want it to go. You just lost all trust of anybody that ever trusted any of you guys when you did this. When you guided people and evidence toward your narrative, you just lost all credibility in your name and your character and your honor and your integrity. You lost it. If nobody's told you that yet, or if you haven't laid awake at night in bed thinking about it, I'm going to tell you straightforward from Fred McCoy, you've lost it. Nobody, they may not tell you. Your man's not going to tell you. Your women's not going to tell you that work for you because you're their boss. But anybody that doesn't work for you, that has 1 ounce of integrity about them, knows what you have done here and what you gave up trying to have your 15 minutes of fame. Where is the dirty clothes? They're no more. They're no more. Just like the file is no more. Just like these statements here was written up afterwards by somebody that had a typewriter that wanted to make it look like they had been typewritten back then. You're not fooling nobody. You may be fooling some people. There's some people you can fool. You can tell them night's day and day's night, and they'll believe you. There's just people like that that's out there. And then there's other people that will look for themselves, look for proof. Go ahead, Punk.
All right.
And that she had gone to Will Terry Abernathy to seek his help in getting a divorce from Buford. He also said that he knew that Pauline had related in some way to Buford that she wanted the divorce.
Stop it. Now, he says that she went to Abernathy. Now, Abernathy is a prosecuting attorney. He held the office somewhat like Mr. Davison holds today. Do you think that if she had gone to him for a divorce, that her and Buford were having problems, that he wouldn't have brought that up, that he wouldn't have mentioned that to somebody, him being a professional prosecutor? Let's see what Abernathy, let's let Mike Elam finish here, and then we'll show you what Mr. Abernathy said about it.
And he stated that he knew that Buford had a 30 caliber carbine in his trunk of his car, and that when he later went to look for it, it wasn't there. He said Pauline also had a 5-shot revolver.
Let's go back to that, and then I want to show you Abernathy. He says that Buford had a 30 caliber, but when he went to look for it, it wasn't there. Didn't have it no more. And Carl says that he sold it. Really? Because, see, in their own report, they said that Buford Pusser asked, and in the newspaper, he asked the TBI, he gave it to Warren Jones or Sloan. He
Mhm.
gave him his 30 caliber M1 rifle to be tested to make sure. He was trying to put a stop to the rumors that had been started by Warren Jones that he had something to do with Pauline's death. Warren Jones had started these rumors. Now, what did Abernathy do? Just wait. Let's see if Mike covers it here.
And when he looked for it, he couldn't find it either. He also stated that he asked Carl about the carbine, and Carl said that Buford had sold it. So it doesn't look good when you
Stop
read
it.
this report.
It doesn't look good. And why he's talking about an M1 carbine, why hasn't Mike Elam and Ricky Plunk been charged? Mike Elam made several videos talking about O'Neill stealing these guns from the military, bringing them home and selling them, and that PD Plunk had one of them. Now, there's a confusion as to how PD Plunk got it. He says he got it out of the trunk of the car. Well, if he did, he stole it from Buford Pusser. But I think Buford Pusser, had he had one of his guns, he would have went and got it back after he got out of the hospital. So PD Plunk had a gun that's supposedly stolen that Ricky Plunk thought may even been used in the ambush. Why hasn't Mike Elam and Ricky Plunk been charged? Why hasn't nobody checked the file in the Jackson federal office
Mm.
of 1960, whenever it was that O'Neill Moffett pled guilty and was up on charges of stealing military firearms? Why hasn't nobody pulled that file and
Mm.
got that serial number to compare?
Good point.
Oh, it's easy to do. When the government opens back up, the TBI's got a few more days probably before the government opens up. But when it does, there's some people out there on the federal level that's going to be looking for that serial number and military bases and stolen records and all that. And when it comes up that that gun is stolen or actually involved in this crime, which I believe it is now, I believe PD uh, Plunk very well could have had something to do with this ambush, either helping to plan it or even involvement or even on a lookout or following. With the way Ricky Plunk had that gun and had hidden that gun and had questions about that gun, even to the point of where he didn't even go to the police. He didn't go to the police about this gun. He went to Mike Elam, a nobody. Why would you go to a nobody about a gun that you think's been involved with a homicide or even possibly stolen? Go ahead, Punk.
Now, in paragraph 2 of page 3, Moffett tells this TBI agent that he checked with the night watchman at Jordan's
Stop
place
it there
there
just a
on
minute.
45.
Before I go too far, guys, Sheila's going to show you a newspaper article here,
Hmm.
and it's called "Rumor at Selmer is Unfounded." You know, he was talking a while ago about Abernathy, Will Terry Abernathy, District Attorney General, and he says the rumors circulated are without basis.
Hmm.
He had several leads and he checked them all out, and none of them proved out. In this report somewhere, if he hasn't went over it, he says Abernathy calls everybody into the courthouse and said, if any of you's got any evidence on this, tell me now. It wasn't Abernathy was trying to cover anything up. He wanted it. If anybody had anything to prove this was true, he wanted it. Nobody had anything. Do you think had Moffett or Plunk or anybody else, Warren Jones, had anything of evidential value that it wouldn't have come up then? It didn't. So there's the newspaper article you're reading on that, where Abernathy says that this is nothing more than a rumor. Go ahead, babe.
North. And this night watchman, who is dead by then, and Moffat didn't
Of
say
course,
how or why,
they're
but
all dead.
But he did say that this night watchman told him that Buford turned around in front of Jordan's place, got back on 45, and headed south toward Mississippi. Moffett stated that he checked with the night clerk at the Shamrock, which he called, again, the Round Town at that time, and said that Buford had been in the parking lot also and turned around there as well, and that neither of these people saw but one person in the car. Didn't see Pauline at all, apparently. Uh, he said that Buford was supposed to be home at this time with Pauline. However, he had proof that Buford was in Selmer at a girlfriend's house trying to.
This is what a video was that him and Dennis Hathcock made, where Dennis was supposedly following on the night of the ambush. Go figure.
Wow.
Just so happened that night, Dennis Hathcock had followed Buford Pusser around all over the place, he said, including to his girlfriend's house. His girlfriend come to meet him at their meeting place at the county garage, and Buford run her off, and then he followed them to her house, and then she wouldn't let him in. He tried to break in on her. Then finally he goes on and leaves. Guys, the stories that this man tells, and we've still not, look how we avoid. Look how we avoid. We'll talk about anything there is to talk about except the ambush, because the ambush has no evidence. The ambush has no witnesses. The ambush has, there's no proof of nothing. So let's talk about anything else that we can talk about. Let's steer away from the ambush because we got no proof of anything there. So let's just say he's got girlfriends. Let's say he was meeting here. Let's say he was meeting there. Now the security guard there saw Buford turn around, but he didn't see Pauline with him. No wonder. Pauline's laying either in the floorboard or over in his lap.
Mm-hmm.
She's been shot by now.
Yeah. Wow, this is sad.
Oh, Mike, he reads it. He reads it as if it's a true statement. Go ahead.
Mm-mm.
Get in this house. He had cut the screen off of a window as the girlfriend watched from across the street at a friend's house as Buford was doing all this.
Wow.
And, it's just a bizarre story. You need to read all this for it to really have meaning to you so that you understand it. All this was supposed to have happened around 2 a.m. And this girlfriend, by the way, he did not name her. So I think we all know now who it was.
Well, we can all.
At any rate, I
would what would that hurt?
To read the document, and we'll move on.
Stop it. It's not a document. That's somebody that wrote up a letter for a book to write a book on and have something to base a book or a podcast on. That's somebody that typewritten, just like I did that sample a while ago for experimental purposes only. It's just like the letter that I typed, just for experimental purposes to show you how easy it is to fool people if they don't want to not be fooled. Go ahead, baby.
Sad.
To paragraph 3, which is rather short. Paragraph 3 pertains to the time that Moffett went to Memphis to see Buford while he was there at the Baptist Hospital, and Warren Jones was with him at the time. He said that when he arrived in Buford's room, that Buford reached out and put his arms around Moffett's neck and said, "My God, Buford, what have I done?"
Again, he's saying that he's blaming himself, not killed his wife. For goodness sakes, that doesn't make sense. To me, I would be saying, what have I done? Because I've busted all these people. I've arrested so and so. I've killed Louise Hathcock. What have I done? I've caused all this to come back on my family because of what I've done.
Yeah.
Arresting people, doing my job.
Yeah.
Not because,
or even let her go with them.
Yeah.
Or even that's like me and you. All the times you've rode with me, what if something would have happened? How I would have felt guilty.
Yeah.
Probably because the person, they would have been outnumbered with me and you both in there, huh? I would have felt guilty that I had to force you to do what you did.
Oh, you're funny. But anyway, this is sad.
And about that time, he saw Warren Jones walk in the room and ceased to say anything else. That's the only thing that this particular paragraph tells. Moffett went on to say that he told this agent that he believed then, as he did the day he told the agent, that Buford had murdered Pauline. And he said that the story was repeated to Will Terry Abernathy, and shortly later, Abernathy personnel from McNairy County into the courtroom there at the courthouse and told them, if you have proof of anything that Buford killed Pauline, tell me now, or I don't ever want to hear of it again.
Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Moffett went on to
Once again, she'll put that newspaper article right here for you that proves exactly that that's the truth, because Abernathy wanted anybody. Now, do you guys believe that if Moffett really believed this, or Warren or P.D. Plunk or anybody had any proof at all, that it wouldn't have been presented at that time, Sloan or Blackwell or anybody? This is a crock, guys. This is a salesman here, and he's selling you a story. Go ahead.
Sad, sad,
say that
sad.
there were two investigators from Mississippi who were working on the ambush case, and that one night they called him to their room, and he related this story to them. And they packed their bags and went back to Mississippi. He also stated that
Stop.
he
Who were they? Who were those two? Who were those two investigators that met and then went back to Mississippi? Doesn't name nobody. See how the same person that wrote this book, how Mike Elam, look how this so-called statement, so-called report, so-called document is written out. It's written out in a manner that's in the same form as Mike Elam's book. Somebody said this, somebody said that. Nobody knew who this was. Nobody knew who that was. It's written out. The more I look at this paper, typewritten paper, the more I can see Mike Elam's writing techniques in it. Sad, but true. I don't know that for a fact, no more than he knew that Pauline Pusser was a stripper, but that's what it's looking like. It's looking like Mike Elam may have had something to do with writing or something to do with these reports, these documented papers that's typewritten out.
stopped working at the sheriff's office about that time, and it was about the time that Buford had been out of the hospital and come back to work, was starting to run for sheriff again, that he asked Jim to come back out of friendship. And Jim did so, knowing that Buford probably murdered Pauline.
What?
And I don't think
Now, that's a heck of a man. Mike Elam said a while ago that there wasn't a better man than Jim Moffett. He's even been bragging on Jim Moffett now. And now he says that Jim Moffett agreed to go back and work for Buford Pusser again another term, even though he knew that he had killed his wife. Now, guys, you can't have it both ways. You can't say 1 minute a man's got honor and integrity, and next minute that he's wanting to go work for a man that killed his wife. If you all ain't picking up on this.
Oh, wow.
things were ever right between them after that. And when Buford left office, he told a friend that, well, Buford will either kill himself or be killed in 5 years. Now, there are other documents that tie in with all this, such as one by Ruth Travis. Ruth worked for the sheriff's office for quite some time. I believe it was something on the order of 21 years. And she worked as director of the 911 uh, part of the county for 19 years and was director there for that long.
Stop it.
She stayed.
Let's see how truthful Mike is, guys. Let's see how truthful. When you get a chance, Google. Sheila will place it in here. You're probably looking at it right now, but Tennessee began implementing 911 services as an officially recognized emergency number in 1977 and launched its first countywide 911 system in Knox County January 1st, 1987. The state officially designated 911 as emergency number in October of 99, following the national standards. Sheila will put that here as to when it happened. But she says in 72, I forget what it was. We posted their document at the beginning, the report. That's the one that they didn't put verbatim. So Mike says that she was in charge of 911. There wasn't no 911 during the 60s and 70s, guys. There wasn't. It wasn't until 1987 that the state even officially designated it as far as Tennessee. Now, the United States had, the nation had, but Tennessee had not. So when Mike Elam sits there and tells you that she was the head system, he's telling you a fib. He's not telling you the truth. Tennessee didn't even have 911 during the 60s and the 70s. Go ahead.
That before she went to work for the sheriff's office under Coleman, that she had a conversation with Jim Moffett. And basically, he told her that he had to get out of law enforcement before he got killed. And she asked what he meant. And he indicated that he was afraid that Buford was going to kill him.
Sheila covered this a while ago.
Exactly. I took it as he's saying he was going to get killed from all the arrests they had made, all the still busting
Enemies.
they had made. Yeah, and retaliation.
All the enemies they had made.
Huh.
Person could take that either way, but what would explain that is the verbatim report, or better yet, a copy of the tape, which I assume the attorneys for Madison will be subpoenaing, where we can hear them at length in the courthouse when this trial comes up, because surely there's going to be a trial and surely this evidence will come out and we can compare the report that says not verbatim, and we can compare it verbatim with what is on that tape that they say they got. That's going to be interesting, guys. I believe you're going to find out. I believe you're going to see a lot of deceit. Could I be wrong? I could be wrong. What's the difference in this report or this document, as Mike Elam calls it? What's the difference in it and any of the reports that the TBI so far has got in their report that people's looking at? There's mistruths in all of them. There's mistruths. You know, the giveaway on this statement, I don't know what kind of spelling person Mike Elam is, but ever who wrote this report, if he was a TBI agent, they certainly didn't have any educational requirements, because if you look at the bottom, no further. If you look up through there at the main top of the page, it's got former FOMER. There's so many typographicals and spelling mistakes in this. Whiskey. Look how they spelled whiskey. Guys, I've got some bad grammar and English and spelling. I've never professed to be anything great, but if this is the TBI's official report by somebody, no wonder they didn't want to sign their name to it. I can see why. But this is nobody's report, guys. This is something that's been made up. This has been fabricated. This is evidence written into history. See, we always talk about people speaking stuff into history. This document here, this piece of paper with some typewritten sentences on it, has been fabricated because Jim Moffat's not here to stand up against it. Buford Pusser's not here to stand up against it. Warren Jones is certainly not here to test it and say, well, no, it is. It's my report. Or Blackwell, he's not here. None of these people are here. Louise Hathcock is not here to say anything about it. The night watchman at the Shamrock is dead. All these different people that he don't know who they are from Mississippi that were investigators. Abernathy's dead. There's nobody here, guys. This man is going around slandering Buford Pusser's name on nothing but his rumors that he's made up. We're almost finished, guys. This will be in 2 parts, and this will be the second part.
Kind of a bizarre thing, and it all goes back to the part, I guess, where he knew too much about Buford, his activities, and especially about Pauline being murdered. It's really a bizarre tale. You need to read it. I'll have it posted on my Facebook page as well.
As if it's the truth.
And I would encourage you to go over there. My Facebook page is Buford Pusser, The Other Story. And it's much like my book by the same name, Buford Pusser, The Other Story, same as this YouTube channel. Try to keep it all named the same thing. And I did that originally just so that people would understand.
And it doesn't say anywhere on there to, from, subject, or nothing like that. It's got the letterhead. Tells you.
No.
That's yeah.
This is the way reports, documents, official statements. This is what they would look like. Not what Mike Elam's trying to pass off there to you as some kind of something that has some evidentiary value. That has no value whatsoever. There's nothing there that's signed. There's nothing there that gives you anything reputable to go look at. At least in today's world, the TBI did at least use their letterhead. They told what investigators was there. They put the date and they signed them. So at least you do have that. You may not have the truth in between the letterhead and the signature or the end of the statement, but at least you've got the letterhead and something to go by. Guys, that's going to conclude this.
Don't you want to, further on here, he says that they said he was the reason basically that.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
Play that so they can hear
You're in
that.
a hurry.
No.
There are those of us out here who don't believe that Buford was the great guy that everybody thought that he was, that the movies made him out to be. So, and that's the way that I came about getting so much information to me that I could share with the TBI. Just people that knew things, wanted to discuss it, and I made myself available. That was the biggest difference between me and all of these other pages and folks that you see out here doing YouTube channels, things like that. They all came quite some time after me because I published my book in 2020. That was 5 years before the TBI made the determination and released the files that they have now. And they tell me I had a large part to do in that. So they tell me I had a large part to do in that. So I'm glad.
There you go. He said the TBI told him he had a large part to do with this.
Well, I think that's good for a civil suit. We can tell that from just some of the comments that he's made throughout his videos, but he's admitting it right there again, that the TBI tells him that he had a large part to do with what they come up with on that news conference that day. So I hope he remembers that remark, because he's as much responsible as they are if what he's just admitted to, or at least in my book, I think a jury would certainly look at it like that. So let's hope so. Let's hope when it all comes out, juries take a look at this, listen to the evidence, and rule accordingly to what Mr. Davis and Mr. Roush, the investigators, the expert witnesses, especially Mike Elam and Baldwin and Dennis Hathcock. I hope they put all of them in there together, and I believe they may not all be in the same lawsuit or the same trial, but I think eventually they'll all be in court to be able to present their
Okay.
case
Yeah.
when it comes to just slandering somebody's name. It shouldn't be that easy to just slander somebody, especially a dead man that can't take up for himself. That's the sad part. This is somebody that can't stand for himself.
Exactly.
His wife can't stand for him. His children can't even stand for him.
No.
They had to go down to their grandchildren.
Mhm.
It's a good thing that he has grandchildren that's willing to stand up
Thank
with
the Lord.
this world as everything as hectic it is as it is nowadays, to take time out of their schedule to say, hey, I've got to put this time forth for grandma and grandpa and my mother or my father, and stand up because I'm all they got left. I've got to do it. Um, thank you, guys.
All right. Guys, we hope you're doing well this evening. Thanks for watching / listening. Please like, subscribe, and share. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye. God bless.